gentlemen, requesting all of you to please settle down. आगे बढ़ते हैं और आगे बढ़ने से पहले जहां डाल डाल पर सोने की चिड़िया करती है बसेरा, जहां डाल डाल पर सोने की चिड़िया करती है बसेरा, वो भारत देश है मेरा. जी हाँ, India has always been known for its rich heritage and unmatched talent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, आज का हमारा ये नया भारत, हमारा इस नए भारत का सपना है मेक इन इंडिया, मेक फॉर वर्ल्ड. वेल, हमारा अगला जो कीनोट डायलॉग है उसका टॉपिक भी यही है, मेक इन इंडिया, मेक फॉर वर्ल्ड. और इसका मतलब है कि यहाँ बनने वाला हर प्रोडक्ट, हर आइडिया सिर्फ भारत के लिए नहीं बल्कि विश्व के लिए तैयार किया जा रहा है. And this is not only about manufacturing, ladies and gentlemen. It is about building a global identity. एक ऐसी पहचान जो भारत को एक नए exporting hub बनाती है, exporting quality, innovation and excellence. And now taking it forward, आप सभी की तालियों के साथ allow me to invite on stage Shri Vishal Anchalia ji, Treasurer JITO Hyderabad chapter. Please put your hands together, everyone. And may I request Shri Vishal Anchalia ji to kindly please introduce the dynamic, the inspiring leader who's yet to follow on the stage.
Good evening, Jai Janendra. I am delighted to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Sridhar Vembu and express my heartfelt gratitude for his gracious presence in JITO Connect 2025. Now I like to invite Mr. Sridhar ji on the stage, and I like to invite Mr. Atul. Kindly introduce Mr. Sridhar Vembu ji. Thank you.
आप सभी की जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत करते हैं मंच पे हमारे बीच पद्मश्री श्री श्रीधर वेम्बू जी, फाउंडर जोहो कॉर्पोरेशन. जोरदार तालियां लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome a visionary entrepreneur who has redefined what it means to build global products from India. Shri Sridhar Vembu ji, the co-founder and chief scientist of Zoho Corporation. At a time when many believed that world-class software could only come from Silicon Valley, he proved that it could be conceived, built, and scaled right here in India. What began in 1996 as a small team today has become Zoho Corporation, India's largest software products company, and a global SaaS powerhouse serving 125 million users in 180 countries. What makes his journey truly extraordinary is not just the scale, but the philosophy. Zoho is completely bootstrapped. No external funding, no shortcuts, just pure innovation, customer trust, and long-term vision. And at the heart of the vision lies his commitment to India's rural development. While most companies are concentrated in metros, Sridhar Vembu ji chose to set up R&D centers in rural India, proving that talent is not limited by geography. He has empowered thousands of young Indians, me one of them, with skills, livelihood, and confidence to innovate for the world. In recognition of these contributions, he was honored with the Padma Shri in 2021, one of the highest civilian honors in India. Today, as he takes the stage to speak on Make in India, Make for the World at this JITO Connect event of Jain community, we are not just listening to a business leader, we are listening from a nation builder who embodies self-reliance, global excellence, and the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Please join me in giving a warm and resounding welcome to Sridhar Vembu ji.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Atul. Namaskaram. Vanakkam. Vanakkam. So we'll start with Jai Nidendra. Jai Nidendra. So I am talking about business to maybe the most distinguished business community in the world. And my mother would certainly consider it, she would say, you are thoroughly unqualified to talk about business to anyone. Because, I don't come from a business community. And we never thought, if our childhood, business is not for us, right? That's not, it will never come, right? That's what they'll say. So I'm going to explore how business has evolved. That's what I'm going to talk about. So I'll come to this picture, right? So when we think of business, we think of trading. In fact, the last question was about trading, how many? And all big business groups actually started with trading traditionally. Trading was the source of wealth. The whole, vyapar means trading originally, right? You buy and sell. And in fact, if you look at all the major Japanese and Korean multinationals, how their origins, if you go to the Mitsubishi Group and all of that, trading houses. They call them trading houses. And they progressively moved into making, and that is factories and making things, making household goods, then making an increasingly complicated array. Well, more of that value in making is not just you have a factory, you make things, you have machines, you make things, but also the unique product design you come up with, and branding, the product management, design in particular. Then it moves more into industrial R&D, that you are talking about more unique inventions, industrial inventions I'm going to talk about. And all of this is in the foundation of scientific discovery. So I just want to first outline that whole thing, and that's that picture I showed first. So you have trading, making, product design, industrial R&D, and scientific discovery. I actually deliberately put this in this kind of a pyramid structure because everything is the foundation of scientific discovery. Our know-how, knowledge of how things work, and how atoms, molecules, how mathematics, all of that is involved. Software comes from you can think of software as a distant branch of mathematics. And all the material things, how this thing works, it's a branch of physics. Then all the materials are a branch of chemistry. All the drugs are a branch of biology, so scientific discovery. And then you have industrial R&D, then product design, making, trading. You can think in that also. And of course, businesses start there. And this is what I'm going to say. True wealth of nations comes from mastery of the deeper and deeper layers. No nation can become truly wealthy by only staying in the upper layers. And now you see this evolution. In fact, China has done this right in front of our eyes. They have gone from nothing, a poor country. In 1980, Chinese per capita GDP was lower than us. Per capita GDP, not just overall GDP. They were actually an absolutely poorer nation than us, both in GDP terms and the per capita terms. Today, they are much richer. The reason is the mastery of the deeper layers. They went deeper and deeper. And today, if you go to physics Olympiad, maths Olympiad, all of that, the Chinese dominate all of that now. So that's the mastery of the deeper layers. And AI is primarily a mathematics and physics phenomenon. What we consider AI today, the foundation of it is really physics. In fact, the Nobel Prize, Geoffrey Hinton, he is a physicist. He's not a computer scientist. A physics person gets a Nobel Prize for what is really feels like a computer science discovery, AI. That tells you the linkages here. And mathematics is the foundation of a lot of things now. So the deeper layers. And here's the business paradox I'm going to tell you. The deeper the layer you go to, the slower the return of capital. I don't have to teach the return of capital to this community, right? You all know that. But this is the paradox. right there for you. So the deeper you go into industrial R&D and scientific discovery, all of that, you are going to make money more slowly. But I said the wealth of nations also depends on mastery of the deeper layers. So therein lies, you see, the problem. Fundamental paradox of wealth. This is the, I want you to always really meditate on this, because you seriously understand this paradox, where the quicker the return that we get in a particular business and the national wealth, how wealthy a nation becomes, those two, there is a paradoxical relationship between the two. That we can only truly become wealthy as a nation if we invest in the deeper layers, but no, in a business you'll have to take a slower approach to it. And this is another thing. The wealth of nations is not compatible with very quick returns in finance. In fact, there is a reason why we didn't go public as a company. Because, take Aratai, the hot one, right? It's hot today. But we started investing in the core technology 14 years ago. And first 5-6 years, we went up absolutely nowhere. If we had put out that product, you all would have hated it. It wasn't very good. Because we didn't know how to build, the good voice quality, video quality, all of that. It's very difficult to get all that right. And when your blue tick has to appear within like a sub-second, people notice those things. How quickly does the call connect? People notice those things. The mastery of all of that is not easy. And it has taken us nearly 15 years to get here. And we found ourselves in a situation where we had to scale up the infrastructure about 100-fold in 2 days. Fortunately, because we had the experience, 30 years, we have pulled it off. Now it's still running, and it's running better now. We have improved the speed, all of that. But all of that knowledge accumulated over a 20-year period. There are many, many engineers working in our company who sometimes they will come and ask me, Sridhar, when are we ever going to see any money in what I do? I say, don't worry about it. Someday it will be very successful. I have to tell them. And they'll say, I hope I'll get to keep my job. I say, that's my job, right? To make sure you keep your job. So, right? So, sequencing of that. So we actually, basically what we did is, we had products that made money, then products that we knew wouldn't make money, but very important for the long-term wealth of not just our company, resilience of the nation. And so I said the wealth of nations comes from mastery of deeper layers, but it's not just wealth, sovereignty now. To be a sovereign nation is now deeper technology layers now. It's obvious now. It wasn't obvious, say, even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's extremely obvious today that sovereignty, of course, security of nations. Operation Sindoor taught us. Operation Sindoor is the first time we have fought really a technological war. And the war is not primarily even about the battlefield. It is in the computer. It is in all of the technologies. It is in the mastery of the jet engine, all of it. That's what security of the nation is now. So all of these, wealth, sovereignty, security, all of this is on that. That's why I redraw that picture, wealth, sovereignty, security, industrial R&D, scientific discovery. So now you can see the connection between this. It's not merely just about, making things. It's about our sovereignty, our security as a nation, our self-respect, I'm going to say, our self-respect. That all depends on this, our mastery of our industrial R&D and scientific discovery. So what can business people do? I'm in business. Maybe I run a profitable company. What can I do? We have been profitable for nearly 30 years. Very first year we became profitable. At first we had like 5 lakhs in profit. Then at some point became 1 crore profit, then 5 crore profit, 10 crore profit, all of that. What do we do, right? Actually, in the beginning, thought arose, what do we do? We said, no, we have to do deeper R&D, more R&D. That's when I created, let's say, now we have to master email. Email was, 5 years later, I cancelled the whole thing, restarted the whole thing. 5 years of work, throw away, start again. 10 years later, we landed the first customer. 10 years to land that first customer, to paying customer. And today, it's actually the fastest growing product in our suite. So that was what the successful business in other products enabled us to do. And so what can business people do? That's why I said, understand how to create and nurture a patient engineering culture. This is maybe the most vital, this slide is the most vital. Because if people ask, what is your trade secret? There's no trade secret, this is a trade secret. That's all there is. And it's not even a secret. But in fact, not even a secret is the whole secret. That's a problem. Because it's actually both extremely easy and extremely hard. And the easy part is that it's, once the system, you have a nice culture, it produces all the fruits. The hard part to understand how that culture works. And I'll give you some insights. What you think of as simplicity is simply that, I'm sitting with my engineers all the time. If I have an executive suite where I sit, my engineers can't access me, I won't get the information, then I won't be able to make decisions, I won't be able to guide them, all of it. So it's not much simplicity. It's just sitting together with engineers all the time, you become one of them, right? That's engineering culture. Everybody calls me by name in the company. There are no, if you come to our company, there are no manager offices, executive offices, executive boardrooms, nothing. There's nothing. There's no boardroom at all. Everybody sits in the same seating as everybody else. We have meeting rooms. Sometimes I have to make an important call. I'll hunt for the meeting room because everything is occupied. Same happens to me too. So that's the engineering culture in the company. In fact, some years ago, a minister came to our company, and I'm walking with him. We go to the lift. It's like some employee of us, he's just simply calling me casually, Sridhar, what's up? Then later the minister asked me, nobody has respect in your company? I said, sir, this is how we always work. Right? So he didn't know that there was a minister standing next to me. So. And I'm telling you, this is the highest priority. If you want to know what makes Silicon Valley tick, it is this, that culture of creating that engineering culture. That's what really Apple figured out, Google figured out, all of that. These companies are now insanely wealthy. Insanely. I mean, now we have to measure it in how many times India's GDP. They are wealthy, right? I'll give you an idea. Microsoft now is $120 billion a year profit, not revenue, profit. Apple is $140 billion. Google is maybe $130 billion. Facebook is maybe $50-60 billion. All annual profit, by the way. So, and they also, of course, hold all of our nation's technological, reins in their hands. Each of these companies, right? With one stroke of somebody's pen, whose, we can lose access to all our phones, all our computers, all our networks, all of it. That's the reality today, right? So, but to escape that, to get out of that, we need to create that engineering culture. And I submit to you, this has to be the highest priority today. No other priority. And that's also because we have the lowest percentage of R&D spending as a percentage of GDP. It's 0.7. Industrial nations spend 3 to 4%. So we have to lift up our R&D by 5 times. Please don't think that any of it has to happen in the government. In fact, almost none of it should happen in the government. If it happens in the government, it will be wasted. We will not get the real technological fruits of this. The iPhone was not created by the US government. The iPhone was created by Apple, the search engine. They may have funded some fundamental scientific work, discovery, but all of the industrial R&D, which is the bulk of it, scientific work may be 5 billion a year, but the industrial R&D may be 400 billion a year. That's the magnitude difference. All of that have to come from businesses, and they have to come out of our profits. Really, the profits have to translate into this R&D investment, that long-term capital, really. Product design and industrial R&D. If there's only one message you take from me today, it's this. And I want you to internalize this. Most of it is not, see, it's an interesting phenomena. When we get into a new product area, one thing we don't do is make a revenue projection. When will it make us revenue? This we cannot truly know. For example, could anybody have predicted that it was last week, finally, Aratai will get a big vertical takeoff? Impossible. Nobody could know. It happened at random. I was shocked. One tweet created a chain reaction. It's like a nuclear fission. Suddenly an explosion happened. But the ground was set up for it, right? Because, we had the war, Operation Sindoor, we had the tariffs, and we had, Pakistani generals in the White House, and then we had dead economy, then H-1B. A lot of provocations on us, right, as a nation. And I think it all expressed itself in Aratai. Suddenly, right? But who could have expected that? There's no way to expect that. So that's why I say you cannot predict these returns, but what you can do is you can measure yourself. How do you measure yourself? How good is your product? How good is your stuff you are creating versus the competition, versus the global competition? It's more uncertain. In fact, I often joke with our teams, a product team is like a movie team for us, movie making. You never know. Some movies become huge hits, some movies flop. You never know when you're making it, right? Otherwise, you would make correctly only the hit movies or the hit songs. You cannot know. So there is more uncertain. But we have no option but to do this. So there is an averaging going on, just like in the stock market. The wealth of the nation can only come from this industrial R&D and scientific discovery. Those are more uncertain, but on average, much more longer-term payoff. If all of our businesses collectively, the R&D we do, is what is going to translate into wealth for the community and the nation. That's really what it is. So, this is what I say. Time for all patriots. I emphasize the word engineer. We really have to engineer our nation's future. It is engineers who engineer the nation's future now. It is all up to engineers now. So, industrial R&D. I said it again and again. And it will create a lot more wealth for businesses, your business, long term, and of course the nation. And that's all of the slides I'm going to talk about wealth creation. Because I have a much more important topic. So, in fact, I am in the odd position where I tell people how to make more and more and more, and then I also end up telling it's pointless to make more and more and more. So I'm going to talk about that. Okay? So, how many iPhones can I carry? How many luxury cars can I drive? How many luxury homes I can live in? Why do all our spiritual masters, all of them, tell us to live modestly? Actually, today we know the answer. The world faces an existential threat. Climate change. And it is not a political issue. Just because some elections happened, the issue didn't go away. We have been having the hottest year on record repeatedly. Every year is the hottest year on record. In some parts of India, the temperature goes up to 50 degree plus centigrade, 50 degree centigrade. You know that, right? And so it's not a political issue. Changing political parties, all that is not going to fix climate change now. And just because we pretend that it doesn't exist, it's not going to change it. It's there, it's with us, and unfortunately it's getting worse. Lifestyle issue. That's what it is. And all the scientific discovery alone cannot fix it. And by passing treaties, Paris Treaty, whatever treaty, and laws and regulations are not going to fix it. So this is fundamentally, I submit to you, it is a spiritual issue. It has to come from within each of us. In fact, if you really truly understand our spiritual masters, this is really the why this, maybe they foresaw that humanity will master the material world well enough to destroy itself. Right? We will consume our way to extinction. That's what they probably anticipated. Our rishis, our munis, our munivar, the Tamil word munivar, I heard the same Jain word too. I didn't realize it. Tamil had a very strong Jain history. Tamil Nadu was a deeply Jain influence there. Tirukural is a Jain. Adi Bhagavan, we say in Tirukural. Adi Bhagavan is a Jain concept. So the munivar, all of that history, why do they say it? Perhaps they anticipated we will consume our way to extinction. And I'm going to submit to you, those of us with health, wealth have a higher responsibility. That's why I'm telling in this audience. I don't think there is any dearth of wealth in this room. I think we can index measure by how many hundreds of crores, thousands of crores here in this room, right? But we have a higher responsibility. I submit to you. And I have been taught by my own guru that the essence of our spirituality is two words. It is not how many pujas you do, all the prayers you do, it's humility and contentment. That's what he said. It's humility and contentment. Those two words summarize all of Bharat's spiritual heritage. So this is what our ancients taught us. Simple living, high thinking. High thinking, highest philosophical realms, mastery of extraordinary mindful techniques, but simple living. So when you actually analyze our day-to-day life, if you look at why we spend money, it's to keep up with others, right? That's true. If you truly ask ourselves, why did I spend on this? It's usually a very good reason. Somebody else's lifestyle triggered us to do it, right? In fact, I tell you, there was about 10 years ago, in Silicon Valley, I was invited to a Diwali function. And Indians are the richest community, right? Highest income. We are richer than Jews in America now. Actually, we are richer than Jews, Indians. Good. And then I go for this Diwali function. I go in my regular Toyota Camry. That's the car I owned. And everybody else, the businessman, everybody comes in Ferrari, BMW, all that. And so one of them asked, Sridhar, you can afford a better car than this. Why are you coming in this? The valet is, there's a valet parking. The valet will feel bad about you. You can afford better, right? I tell you, if I go to that function 5th time, I would have bought a luxury car, right? That's what happens to us. We have to keep up with others. So that's really what happens. So I actually take it as our spiritual heritage to live so as to not create jealousy in others. By the way, I cannot teach to the poorest person. I can only tell this to the wealthiest of us. Right? When you think about it. Because as we live, the people poorer than us live, basically. As we live. To me, if there is one thing this nation, this civilization has to teach the world, that is these principles. If the world, humanity, has to escape from this crisis, man-made climate change, we created it. It has to be this from our nation's spiritual heritage. And I'm going to tell you how much of our vegetarian culture is so vitally important to the world. Because food alone is a major cause of climate change today. This community right here has a huge lesson to teach. Huge lesson to teach the world. And I hope you go on living this way, set an example for others. It's very important. because it comes from fundamental compassion, right? Compassion for everything. You have even more compassion for even the roots. You won't touch potato and onion and carrot because you don't want to uproot that whole thing, right? That is compassion. This community teaches that compassion. And then why would we provoke jealousy in others? To me, the highest compassion is this too. Other human beings should not feel jealous of us. And to me, once we adopt that foundational principle in our lives, I told you we need to create a lot more wealth for our nation. But once we adopt we will live modestly, not create jealousy in others. The purpose of wealth becomes very obvious. That is dharma. Basically, dharma. Right? We live for that. And there are so many philanthropists in this room. You know this. There is nothing more, there is no more joy than in creating these philanthropic institutions. I have personally experienced the joy. All of you, most of you have experienced the joy. That's where it, I think, would say, comes from. So I'll end with this again, what I started. Thank you. And I'm open for some questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for a very, very inspiring, thought-provoking, enlightening session. Thank you so much. एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाएं. A big, big round of applause. May I please request Mr. Prakash Bulusuji, Joint CEO, IIFL Capital, to kindly join us on the stage, along with Shri Rohit Kothari ji, Chairman JITO Hyderabad Chapter, Shri B.L. Bhandari ji, Convener JITO Connect 2025, Shri Sushil Sancheti ji, Co-Convener JITO Connect 2025, Shri Kamlesh ji Sujatia, Vice President JITO Apex, Shri Gautam Sehlot ji, Director in Charge JITO Connect 2025, and Shri Jitendra ji Bhandari, Director Chairman TENAPS. आप सभी की ओर से इस बहुत ही शानदार, बहुत ही बेहतरीन, बहुत ही इंसाइटफुल सेशन के लिए well, we have with us the man himself, Padma Shri Sridhar Vembu ji. Thank you so much, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, gear up for the next session. Please be seated, requesting all of you to please take your seats. आप सभी से निवेदन है, please बैठ जाएं.